Okay, welcome back everyone. I'm going to get right into the stock market technical analysis. We're going to go through the broad charts. We had the inflation reading come out today and came in hot, and so that's obviously putting the Fed into a more rate hiking cycle. That's what the market's reacting on. So we gapped down today, and we'll look at the charts and see what we have going on. I think there's some really key levels right now that are very important that are going to probably dictate maybe the next 10% or so in the markets. So very important to look at these. Stay tuned. And then again, if you're interested in learning this as a skill set, I have a stock market technical analysis course teaching you how to read the charts. Now, it's not going to, it's not going to give you a crystal ball and tell you where the markets are going, but it will tell you where the probabilities lie based on what the charts say. And very often, market sentiment and also the headlines will follow the charts. It's usually priced in the charts, and if you know how to read the charts, you can see it in the charts where likely in the future the headlines and the market and kind of the mainstream will all be at based on what you saw in advance. So check that out. Link in the description below. Priced affordable, not free. My time's not free, but also not really price gouging as well. Good value there. And then if you're interested in the private member group, feel free to join up, giving additional market insights, additional trade ideas within there. Okay, let's go into the charts. I've got a lot of things I want to cover. We'll start off with the tech sector on the daily chart. We are testing the 200-day moving average, simple moving average right now on triple Qs. We have not broken down. We did break down from this level right here at 293. That's kind of a key level. And we're testing the 200-day. We'll see where we close because oftentimes, at least the first test of the 200-day, you're going to have buyers step in. It doesn't mean they will, but again, this is a daily chart. So where does the day close, I think, is going to be very telling. Do we bounce here? Do we, even if we close right in where we're at and we're above the 200, as long as we're above the 200, then it's we could potentially bounce. So it's not really a sell signal. I'm not seeing enough impulsive selling. Obviously, we gapped down on the headline, and that was pretty much the majority of the move. But that doesn't mean that the buyers aren't in there buying this gap down up. Now, we need to see where we close at. Let's go to the futures. Oh, and actually, I want to drop down to the hourly chart here. Another thing you see here on the triple Qs hourly, bullish divergence. Not confirmed, but we do have a divergent low. So this price action right down here on the hourly is a divergent low on the hourly. And if we start to turn up and they start to buy it up, it's just going to continue to confirm that divergence. So it's just not, it doesn't look like a sell signal to me, to see this divergence. Now, if we continue to sell off and dump into the close, burn through the divergence, then again, yeah, that's going to be a sell signal. But as of right now, we don't have that. So it's conditional. I'm just trying to lay out what to look for if you see it in the markets. As of right now, this doesn't make me want to be extremely bearish or short. And again, I remain long pretty much on these markets, and I'm looking for a rally. Doesn't mean we'll get it, but that's what I see as of right now. Let's look at the futures. Here's the NASDAQ futures. Again, you can see here kind of chopping through, dip down, make a new low, hitting the 200 on the, it's the 200-day. Let me roll out to the daily real quick. There it is. So we hit the 200-day. We are below this kind of key level of support, which is about 1287.50. But again, the day's not over. We do have bullish divergence. Now, not confirmed. Obviously, if we continue going lower, we're going to burn through this divergence. But as of right now, it does remain as a divergent low. So I'm looking for the buyers to come in. We'll see what we get. All right, let's go to the SPY. All right, S&P 500 SPY. Okay, so on the daily chart, you'll notice here, and again, I'm really just breaking down what the charts are telling me. You'll notice here that we're basically still at that kind of key level of support. One way to look at this, you can adjust the SPY chart. So I had my chart like this previously, my trend line, which kind of marks out these reaction highs in this bear market right there. All right, but another way to kind of look at it, if I kind of clean this up here, you'll see let me just kind of clean this up. You can see that if I adjust it just slightly lower and go right about there, all right, and capture that that kind of key point right there, it's enough to basically say that we have, and let me just adjust that like that, right there, like that. That's kind of a perfect line drawing. And if I do that, we're still at that support level. So again, it's a matter of how you draw the lines. I don't always get my trend lines perfect. And I think, as far as I can tell, we're just still at that key level of support. This one here, let me just go ahead and kind of adjust this. I think I can roll that up, and we're just slightly below on this rally trend line. So this is the rally we've been in, and this is the trend line, that red one. We're below that, but we are testing the major trend line. This is the major trend. So at the end of the day, is this a breakout and a back test, or is it a breakout and we're going to fail and head lower for the next leg lower in the bear market? Only time will tell. We'll have to wait to see what the charts show us. As of right now, I would favor at a minimum a bounce, and you can see we came down to the 200-day. I would favor a minimum some sort of a bounce. All right, maybe like this. I don't know. Usually when you're going to hit a major trend line we've had that's been in place for over a year, you're going to get some sort of a reaction. And that's what I'm favoring as of right now. If I roll down to the hourly chart, you can see slight bullish divergence right here. See it? It's right there on the hourly. See how the momentum's kind of moving up? And yet we're making a new lower low in price. So that's a divergent low, right, as of right now on the hourly chart. So keep an eye on that. Does the divergence remain or does it burn through it? All right, that's kind of what we look for. If we just continue lower and burn through the divergence, then, that's going to be bearish. So, but if we can hold here and start to rally, then that divergent low is, going to get bought up. So right now I'm favoring a rally, all right, and potentially even a recovery of this trend line right here. I don't know if it'll happen today, but that's kind of what I'm favoring. And we'll flip over to the futures. Here's the SPY futures ES, and you can see here downtrend line there, and again coming in for that back test right there. All right, testing the 200-day, testing, back testing that trend line. So technically nothing's broken really. I mean, I just am not seeing enough signs of breakdowns and sell signals to tell me that, okay, this is this breakout here was a false breakout and it's a bear trap or a bull trap and we're heading lower. I don't see that yet. Now, I think that will be the case here in the future, but I suspect that the first tag of this, that you're probably going to get some sort of a bounce, all right? Some sort of a reaction bounce. And then maybe in the future we'll come down and break that. That's kind of where I'd put the probability, at least at this point, is higher probability you get a bounce versus just breakdown. Again, all the gap down and all the selling so far today has not really technically done damage, enough damage at least, to most of the charts to indicate a major sell signal. So in that case, I would say that we're at or near support, maybe slightly under, and the day's not over, and it's just not enough information. So I think we could rally. Looking at the hourly chart here, you'll see again bullish divergence there on the hourly, just barely, but it is there, right there, not confirmed. So again, we need to see confirmation to help with that, see the PPO start to turn up and things like that. But as of right now, divergent low, pretty much across the board, at major support, slightly below. So my thoughts. Okay, that's the broad markets. I want to talk about my favorite trade right now, which is these gold miners. Across the board, these look like a long to me. I mean, I wouldn't say across the board, but many look very good. So we'll start out here with gold bullion. I've been talking about this for a few days. My trades typically, when I see them starting to set up, they usually take a couple days, maybe a couple weeks to actually play out, if they're going to play out at all. I don't get everything right. But this is what we got going on this one. So gold bullion. All right. So, I mean, if you look bigger picture, gold's in a bull market. All right. It's kind of just been consolidating really since 2020, it's just been in this kind of big sideways range. We just recently had a decent sized correction right here, top to bottom. That was a correction of about 20%, 21%. That's a nice correction. And then it broke out. Okay, you broke out there, continued to rally up, and then came down for another correction, right down to what looks to be decent support at about 1805. So again, I've been talking about that level as a key level of support. We are pretty much there now on the daily, maybe a little bit lower, but close enough where you don't want to wait for the exact level typically. If you want to take a position, if you think something's going to rally, oftentimes you want to step in a little bit early and don't worry about the exact level. And again, I see this as a key level. So you can see reactions here. I see them right there. That was support. Then it was resistance here. Kind of lots of reactions right through here, and we're right there now. So that's what I have on gold. Gold futures, the GC, very similar kind of setup. The 1809, we're in that range of support. All right, see, it was support, then it was resistance, then we had lots of reactions through here, and there we are again. So this is a pivot level. It's close enough for me to say that I would put decent probability we're going to get a rally. If I roll down to the hourly, bullish divergence, we've had that for a while. So again, it's a key level of support. Let's get to GDX, gold miners. Okay, on GDX, daily chart here, you'll see, basically we're in that zone of support. Right here, I really had the support level at about 2730, decent amount of reactions there. But, it could go all the way down to about 2630 because there is a couple reactions right down in here. All right, so in general, I see this anywhere from 2730 to 2630 as a zone of support, and that's where I think we're trading at now. So I like this level. Let's get to the hourly. You'll see here bullish divergence, all right, on this hourly chart. And, you have this bullish falling wedge here. I've kind of marked it out there, and nothing's changed. We're still within that bullish falling wedge. So again, we're dropping. We have bullish divergence on the hourly chart, and I think we're going to break out relatively soon. We don't have that breakout yet, but there is enough. It's a constructive chart for sure. So I like this. And then let's get to silver. It looks very interesting. SLV. SLV, you'll see here on the daily. Okay, so on SLV, good level of support as well, right there. All right, it's about 1918. Okay, you can see that's a reaction low. It was support all through here. Then it was resistance right there. A little gap above, but in general resistance. Then it was support through here. And sure enough, we're there now. Just slightly below the 200, but at that major support, I suspect the buyers step in. Let's look at the hourly here. On the hourly, this low that we're making is a divergent low. Now, it's not confirmed yet on the PPO, and on the RSI, they're kind of burning through it a little bit on the RSI. So we'll see on that. This might need to consolidate and build for a while, but it's at that major level of support. So I would think we're going to at least get a reactionary bounce here, if not, act as a bottom. All right. Nat gas. So UNG, you can see here that we have recovered that support level, which is about it's about 808, 810, somewhere right in there. We've now recovered that. Now the day's not closed, and this is a daily chart, so maybe we sell down. But as of right now, I would give good probability we're going to rally up to this next resistance level, about 887, 888. Okay? And just in general, you look at the daily chart has bullish divergence there, just right there. So we've got divergence all over the daily and the hourly. It sets it up for a rally here. So I'd put decent probability that we're going to rally up here next. I don't think that'll be today, but as long as we get that close above that 810, 808, somewhere right in there, get a daily close above there, then that's going to signal that we've recovered this trend line. And this little breakdown here was a false breakdown, likely signaling a near-term bottom. Okay, so that's what I have there. All right, wheat. So I did modify my trend line, and here's what I've got. I think I had my trend line off a little bit. I still like this as a long trade. Let me show you guys what I had previously. I had my trend line really right about there, like that. And what I was doing is capturing the high, and then I came in and captured that data point right there. I only had 2 data points, but so not, I still think we have this bullish falling wedge pattern, but what I can do is if I adjust the trend line just down a little bit, and again, drawing trend lines is kind of an art form. You still have this bullish falling wedge. I've got a reaction high, I've got a reaction here, and I've got a reaction here, although I have to throw that one out right there. So not the cleanest chart for sure, but as of right now, if this is the trend line, the valid trend line, then we're just coming in for a back test. That's what today's price action is just a back test. Now, any lower from here, then yeah, we need to stop out. But as of right now, I think this is still a back test. We have bullish divergence on the daily chart. We are making a new low right now, pretty much right now. You can see here's your former low and here's a new low. This is a divergent low. It's a divergent low and a back test of the trend line. So I like it. I still like this trade, even though my trend line was slightly off. I think it still makes sense to stay in this trade for a long trade. So looking for this to start to trend higher. Again, I just wouldn't want to see it go much lower. All right, we could maybe come down a little lower, but in general, this should be the area of support. So that is what I'd be looking for. Much lower than that, we'll stop out. And when I kind of scan across the board, another reason why I'm favoring a bounce here, we don't have to get it, but I'm not seeing enough weakness in some of these stocks. You can see JP Morgan slightly up today, nothing really going on today. Tesla, a major, kind of a big risk on stock. It's down, but we're not really breaking any trend line support levels. Right now, 189.66 seems to be the nearest level of support. We're just not really breaking that. We're just kind of trading still within this range. So I don't see enough signs there. Things like GME, which is just, risk on, down 2%. Nobody's really exiting this. So it's just right there at support. I'm just not seeing enough information that tells me that we are that we're breaking out. You see the VIX? The VIX is up today because obviously we gapped down on the headline, but they're selling the VIX. All right, so far they're selling the VIX a little bit, so it's just not enough. We're not seeing the VIX spike, and I'm really just trying to make the case for a near-term bottom, and a rally from here. Longer term, I think we will make that next leg lower in an ongoing bear market. Just doesn't seem like it's going to happen right now. Okay, so that's really all I have. At the end of the day, I really like the gold miners down around these levels. I'm starting to build positions. I'm adding to long positions here. And so those are my favorite from a long perspective. The markets in general, I think we get the bounce. Maybe, maybe not. There's enough information here to say that it's not a full-on sell signal, but we'll see how the day closes on that one. I'm definitely not 100% confident in a bounce, but I'm just kind of undecided. Need a little more information. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Get this one out. Catch you on the next one.